Hello everyone, my name is Nico and here are Kenneth, Brian and Kara. Climate change is a change in the state of climate that can be identified by changes in its properties. Sustainability is an ability to make development sustainable, in other words, to ensure that development meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Big history is an emerging academic discipline which examines history from the Big Bang to the present. There are two types of factors causing climate change. Natural, for example, orbital variation. Anthropogenic, for example, sources of anthropogenic greenhouse gases and burning of fossil fuels.
After talking about the factors causing the climate change, I will briefly describe some impacts of it. Obviously, the climate change will change the precipitation patterns, and it is predicted that there will be more drought and flood. Besides, the extreme weather will be result due to the unstable atmospheric and oceanic change. As the environmental condition keeps changing to an unfavorable state, the species may not be able to adapt, and hence the biodiversity may be reduced, and also the food resource for humans may also decline. Let's move to the sustainability part. The sustainability includes energy, materials, physical environment, and the biological system. But why would we need to sustain those aspects? Because the final goal is to sustain a human population. The growth and the reproduction are the critical factors to retain the Homo sapiens. Energy and materials will be used to support the growth, while the steady environment is needed for the reproduction to carry out. If those factors are depleted, the ultimate result may look like the case of Easter Island. The people who live in the Easter Island capture the resources at a constant rate without considering the concept of sustainability. And finally, they were all dead due to the inadequate resources.
Our group has picked two highlighted concepts in the big history which are related to climate change and sustainability. The first one is emergent properties, and the second one is change and adaptation. Emergent properties are complex and unexpected properties that appear through interaction of simpler and smaller entities under the Goldilocks conditions. In Fractal 2 and 3 of the big history, hotspots and new structures such as stars, galaxy cluster, and supercluster are formed by the interaction of hydrogen, helium, gravity, small variation of density, at a high temperature. Chemistry is formed by aging and dying stars and very high temperatures. We may regard the new and extreme climate, such as the change in rainfall pattern, as the new emergent properties that is caused by population growth, increased demand in resources, and increasing greenhouse gas emission.
Another important concept in big history is change in adaptation. There are two powerful skills that can help us mitigate climate change. The first is collective learning. In ancient times, man has been extensively using this technique for survival and have been amplifying its benefits using symbolic language, which later evolved into formal writing and linguistic system. From this, humans can accumulate knowledge that would otherwise be lost upon the death of the individual. This favors technological developments such as animal domestication and invention of farming tools. In modern society, information of climatic data from internet or from data books can raise the awareness of individuals in order to adapt climate change. The other skill is cooperation. While passively raising individual adaptiveness is crucial, different degree of cooperation with other stakeholders is vital. Internal cooperation could help local authorities identify weakness in the existing system, thus correcting it. Regional cooperation among countries enables them to gather sufficient geological information to deal with changes of higher degree. For instance, the China, Korea, and Japan Lateral Conference on Transboundary Air Pollution. Finally, international cooperation set up collaborative mitigation frameworks and gather sufficient funding to deal with significant climate changes. International bodies like the IPCC and the UNEP coordinates global effort and provides climate reports for us to understand climate change better. All forms of cooperation help us mitigate climate change.
Here are some frequently asked questions about climate which some of you might not have heard. As a conclusion can be said that changes will happen in the future and collective learning and increase in cooperation are two of our best skills to mitigate to these changes. Lifestyle and behavioral changes could critically reduce energy demand by up to 20%, meaning that every small change in our daily life counts.